I'm back. Hi, welcome to episode 2 of the Varie-Tea Show. I'm your host, Natty. Um, it has been quite a while, so let's catch up. 2025 has not been my year. I guess it really hasn't been anybody's year, but as a result, I completely missed the Oscar season. I did see the awards though. Thankfully, Amelia Perez was the biggest loser of the night, only walking away with 2 wins from its 13 categories. That was the highlight of my night. So, over the break, I did have a chance to rethink some things with like how the show works. So, some quick housekeeping to go over. First off, same day, new time. New episodes of the Varie-Tea Show will release every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Second, I want to do evergreen topics. Given the way the Oscars series of episodes went, I think it's best to focus on more timeless topics. That doesn't mean, current events won't be covered. They just won't necessarily be the main topic of the show. And finally, I'd like to announce the first Varie-Tea side series. It is Mario Party May. During May, I'll be playing one round of a 30-turn Mario Party game every day while spilling tea randomly chosen by a wheel spin. At the end of the month, I'll be compiling every turn into one supersized video. So I am really excited for this to come out, and I hope you will check it out when the first episode drops on Thursday. In celebration of Mario Party May, I'd like to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. I guess more specifically, the Switch 2 pre-order experience in the US. For those of you unaware, on April 2nd, Nintendo fully unveiled the follow-up to their highly successful Switch console set to be released on June 5th. Pre-orders for retailers were set to open on April 9th, while Nintendo would open their own pre-orders in May. Now, let's put a pin in Nintendo's for a moment because we'll get back to them. The April 9th pre-orders were indefinitely delayed in the US on April 4th due to the tariff situation, and Canada followed a few days later. The Switch 2's release and Nintendo's pre-order dates were unaffected by this delay. Now, pre-ordering directly from Nintendo has been very big news since its announcement. For starters, this is the first time Nintendo has actually ever allowed pre-orders from their store. People had been speculating for a while that this would be the case, but the biggest question was, how are they going to handle resellers? Their answer was a lottery system that you could register for if you were a Nintendo Switch Online member who met certain requirements. This was a great idea in theory. However, the wording around the requirements left many confused. This, coupled with the much later date of the lottery, left most people waiting for an update on retailer pre-orders. And finally, on April 18th, Nintendo announced that online pre-orders would begin on April 24th for Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and GameStop. More specifically, 12 a.m. Eastern for everyone but GameStop. Theirs began at 11 a.m. Each retailer had their own method for dealing with demand, but unfortunately, these methods were not communicated very well. However, this is not my first rodeo when it comes to this, so I was going to try every site to make sure that I was able to get a pre-order. In the few minutes leading up to pre-order time, I made sure to log into all my accounts, double check all my info just to make sure things were seamless as possible. I had Best Buy and Walmart on their own monitors on the computer. Target website was pulled up on my iPad, and I had the Best Buy app on my phone as well. So when pre-order time rolled around, Walmart seemed to add me to a queue. Best Buy didn't change, and after a few refreshes with Target, I was able to add to cart and begin checkout. Once I hit complete order, error, something went wrong, try again. So I tried again. Error, something went wrong, try again. I tried again. I'm in panic mode at this point. So I checked the Nintendo Reddit, and apparently, as long as you're at this stage, the order should go through eventually. So aside from refreshing Best Buy every now and again, my full focus was on Target. I opened it on every device. I was determined to get this pre-order. I hit complete purchase. Something went wrong, try again. Refresh. Something went wrong, try again. refresh. Something went wrong, try again. Complete purchase. Verify your card information. Complete purchase. Something went wrong, try again. Refresh. Something went wrong, try again. Complete purchase. Verify your address. Complete purchase. Something went wrong, try again. Over and over for the next half hour. And still nothing. I decided to give it a second. You know, let it do its thing. I click over to Best Buy, refresh. And finally, it shows up. I click pre-order. I immediately am sent to a queue that just says wait. So I wait. With still no movement on the Walmart side, I moved my Best Buy tab over to the Walmart monitor. It became sort of a waiting room monitor that I could keep my eye on while still trying to get my stupid Target order to go through. After 20 more minutes of Target errors, Best Buy refreshed. They had me sign in again, took me to the order page, and I hit checkout. Got a fraud check from my bank. I've never seen it before. Best Buy was like, your bank needs to make sure it's you. I got a text from the bank, clicked it, opened my app, confirmed it was all good. Payment fails. Try it again, same thing. So I switched to PayPal. Same thing. A few more attempts, the time left on my checkout ticking down. I try PayPal again, it finally goes through. Now that that's out of the way, switch back over to Target to finish up my order, refresh one more time. My cart is empty. Completely empty. The order I've been trying to get for the last hour fails, gone. But Best Buy was my preferred place to pre-order, so I wasn't super upset, or really upset at all, other than the fact that I spent time trying. Anyway, check my email just to make sure I got my Best Buy order confirmation, and lo and behold, there it was, along with an email that says urgent 48-hour notice. Please update payment information to avoid cancellation. So turns out PayPal didn't work after all, so it was back to trying my card. After many attempts to verify my info and nothing was working, I decided to give it a few minutes and check my Walmart status, see what was going on with it. Well, when I moved my Best Buy tab over to the waiting room monitor, I covered up Walmart, so I didn't realize that I had been through the queue for quite some time. I don't know how long their queue was, but when I clicked over, I had 58 seconds left. So I went into scramble mode. And unfortunately, I was hit with the same issues as Best Buy. You know, card wasn't going through, PayPal wasn't going through. Nothing was working, so the timer hit 0, page refreshed. Sorry, you didn't complete your order in time. You've been removed from the line. After an hour of attempts, I had 1 pre-order on the verge of cancellation and 2 failed ones. Not the greatest experience, to say the least, but it doesn't end there, actually. I looked at my bank account just to see, like, maybe those weird Best Buy fraud check things didn't go through, or maybe there was a different alert. Turns out there was an alert for suspicious activity. Apparently every time I hit complete order on Target, even though it failed, it tried to process the payment. So my bank account got locked for fraud, and that is what caused the issues on the other sites. After probably sitting through the longest fraud check phone call ever, I updated the Best Buy order and checked my email just to make sure everything was good, and saw an order confirmation email from Walmart. Apparently my order did go through, even though I was kicked out of line. I don't really understand it, but now I have 2 pre-orders. And honestly, I'm kind of nervous to cancel the Walmart one. You know, history shows that pre-orders can just randomly get canceled anytime leading up to release of whatever it is. So I'm just gonna hang on to it for now, probably cancel it as we get closer. But honestly, I believe this same line of thinking led to the kind of shit show that console pre-orders have been lately. Now, since I ended my night with 2 pre-orders, I didn't bother with GameStop. They had similar issues. Website wouldn't load, people couldn't add to cart, errors, error. Despite widespread issues, pre-orders did sell out everywhere pretty much immediately. I'm sure Nintendo's thrilled by such a high demand, but unfortunately, high demand does not equal high satisfaction. I mean, I ended up with multiple pre-orders. I wouldn't say I'm really happy. I feel like I'm far from the only one that feels this way. Like I said, pre-orders getting randomly canceled is a valid concern given the history of past console launches, so there's no surprise that people would order from multiple places and hold on to multiple pre-orders in case one gets canceled. So yeah, Switch 2 sold out immediately, but a lot of those orders are going to be canceled in the following weeks, and they'll be relisted and immediately sell out, which is great for Nintendo. It's great for the retailers, but it doesn't really do anything to make the situation better for consumers, you know? And unfortunately, because they are still selling out instantly and will continue for a while, I don't really see any changes coming. I mean, Best Buy and Walmart had good ideas with their queue systems, so I'd like to see that come back with maybe something to show your place in line, something to indicate you're in line in the case of Walmart. But, you know, this situation could have been a lot better, and I know Nintendo's been working to make the experience good with their lottery system. And again, it's such a good idea in theory, but why is it a month later? Well, you know, after the delay is less than, but still, why is it so much later? Why the weird, unclear, you know, criteria? It's just, in the lead up to a new console, you want to be excited. Don't get me wrong, I'm super excited, but boy, all the confusion around everything to do with Switch 2, like, this pre-order stuff has been just the tip of the iceberg. It's really rough. So moving on to Positivity Tuesday, I do want to mention how smoothly GameStop's in-store pre-orders seem to go. Each store posted a flyer of the amount of systems they would have available for pre-order. So lines were able to be capped. You know, no one was standing for hours just to be turned away. They also passed out this checklist of all the products that would be available to everyone that was in line that would allow them to kind of just check off their choices and hand it up as like their ticket when they checked out to really speed up the checkout process. It seemed like it was very smooth and seamless for everyone involved. So good job, GameStop. I do hope online orders can be just as easy someday. Remember, if you have any positivity to share, please post in the YouTube comments for a chance to be featured in a future Positivity Tuesday segment. That is all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening after such a long break. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to follow. Be sure to check out Mario Party May on Thursday. I'll be back next week with another episode of the Varie-Tea Show. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.